Today, I'm going to look at one of the experiments that I wanted to test is how does coffee beans that have been stored in a freezer, vacuum packed for 6 months compare with coffee that's been left out on the shelf in fairly basic airtight container for 1 month, and see if there's any noticeable difference between the two. So let's get into it. So this is a regular shot. This is our normal Il Caramello. You can see there, beautiful, really lovely, even flow, full of sugars and oils. I mean, that is beautiful. It's a little bit wonky, I admit, because I probably didn't tamp it properly. It's a little bit over-extracted in that corner. But still, overall, a really lovely shot, finished perfectly in 30 seconds. All right, let's give it a try. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. Exactly what I would assume our Il Caramello to taste like as a short black. It's full of body. It's got really nice apricots, caramels, malts. It's very balanced, very sweet. There's no bitterness. There's only a hint of under extraction in one area, but I wouldn't even consider it, and I probably wouldn't have noticed it had I not seen it. Perfect. All right, now to test these guys. They should have defrosted by now. Give it about 10 minutes in the vacuum bag to bring it back up to room temperature, because what you don't want to do when you freeze coffee is expose it to anything that will give it condensation. So opening it up to the air will allow condensation to happen, and then will ruin our beans before we've even had a chance to use them. So in the vacuum back bag, we're leaving it out for about 10 minutes. It's coming up, it's feeling a little bit cool still. We might give it a few more minutes, and then we'll test it out and run it and compare it. So this is a fresh batch. This is about a week old. And this is 6 months old in freezer. Look, there's really not that much difference, to be honest. There's a couple of oil flecks, which is an indication that the beans are sweating, and that just means the oils are now on the outside of the bean as opposed to being trapped on the inside. And you want them to be trapped on the inside because you don't want those oils to escape. All right, moment of truth here. Okay, so that's a good indication because I've actually ground it too fine. There's so much oils on there, the water can't actually get through, and that's why it's dripping like this, because there's just too many oils, which means there's still a lot of oils in this grind, which is a good sign because that's what you want. So, as much as that looks beautiful, we're gonna stop it and try again. Ooh, 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 oh, look, it's jiggering. Wow, oh look. There's a meniscus of water right on the base there, and then all of these little air bubbles as the air is going up. I've never seen that before. Incredible. Magical. It's like National Geographic. Let's see how this comes out now. Yeah, that's better. Much better. Now, I didn't do any puck preparation on this, that's why they're not joining up. But you can see that there is this is like the day that we roasted it. Look at that cone. The way that it's dropping down, oops, we're getting a bit of spray. The way that it's dropping down indicates how fresh this coffee is. Because we froze this on day one, this is almost like using day one coffee, fresh coffee, even though it's 6 months old. So this is interesting. Looking at the actual crema, there is a lot of gases coming through that I've turned into liquid. This is indicative of a really fresh coffee. So I didn't think of this when I actually froze the coffee, but I probably should have let it settle for a week, then frozen it, because it clearly has kept it in a form of stasis that is almost pure to the original coffee. So this is probably gonna taste very fresh. That was a 27-second extraction. That was bang on. Maybe a little bit short, but still. Yeah. I mean, that tastes pretty close to the original Caramello. I mean, maybe it's missing maybe some of the really subtle flavors are not there. It definitely doesn't taste exactly the same as the other fresh one that I just had before, but it's close. And there's definitely full of flavor in there, on par. I'm really surprised and excited because now I can confidently give people advice to freeze their coffee if you do it in this way. I'm not saying put the beans in the freezer and then let them sit there and bring them up and get all the condensation on them, but if you backpack it first and seal it away so it's super airtight, then freeze it, then bring it up in its sealed state, I think that's a winner. Now, let's test 1 month old coffee, the fresh beans that we had but that are a month old, and see how they stack up against these two. As of now, these guys are on par with fresh coffee. Ah, awful. I mean, I can see the difference there immediately. That's disgusting, but still has oils on it. It's not like just pure thin black water. However, we extracted the entire lot in 20 seconds. All right, so there could have been a couple of reasons why that shot just poured through. That wasn't just because of the age of the beans. I think I could have maybe fined it up a little bit more, and that would have slowed it down a bit. But it could just be that the beans are old. I've got one more shot at it, so I'm gonna try it again on a finer grind setting and then see if that works. But let's try this. Yeah, very quite sour, like underripe apricots is the immediate sensation I feel. It just is underripe. But again, was that the beans? Because the beans were older, should be just thinner, more hollow. This is definitely under extracted, so it's not lacking in flavor, just really under extracted. So I'm gonna give it one more shot and we'll give that a try and hopefully you'll get a better result. Let's try it again. I mean, that's better. Yeah, so here you can see all of that dark fluid that came out first. That's a sign that the oils have escaped already. And then now the puck's cracked open, it's just gushing through. That was much finer, and that was exactly what I wanted to see at the beginning. However, even so, it still only ran for not 17 seconds. We've run out of time. However, stick around. We will release the second part of this video where we compare the frozen whole beans to the frozen pre-ground, and same date, same roast. So this essentially could be like using the same day grind, which will be really interesting. And then the other thing that I will do is continue to keep freezing this, because I can put this back in the freezer now. I'll vac it again and I'll put it back in the freezer, and we'll try it at another 6 months, so 12 months, and see if anything's changed there, because this literally seems to me like it's 1 day old coffee. If you enjoy this content, please give me a like, give me a subscribe, leave a comment in the section below, because I want to hear your thoughts on this. Is this something that you would be prepared to do? Does this open up the entire world of coffee to be able to try coffees that are 3 decades old? Perhaps if we started freezing them now, people in 3 years, 30 years time can actually enjoy them. It really does open up a whole bunch of questions for me, because I was not expecting this level of quality from 6 months old beans. This is different though, this is next level. So I'm really excited about where this leads me, and I'm thankful for all of you scientists out there for sharing your knowledge so that you have allowed me to experiment and come up with my own thoughts on this. I'm Ryan, your Chief Espresso Officer and Coffee Coach. I'm gonna leave you with some extra footage of our experiments and some B-rolls. So stay tuned, see you next time. And remember, enjoy your brew.